Want to get this briefing by email? Here's the sign-up. Good evening. Here's the latest. European press photo agency 1. Egypt suffered one of the worst civilian massacres in its modern history. Islamist militants detonated bombs and unleashed torrents of bullets at a mosque on the Sinai Peninsula, killing at least 235 people and wounding more than 100 others. Even ambulances were targeted. "We don't know what to say. This is insane," a medical official said. There were no immediate claims of responsibility, but the worshippers were Sufis, whose mystical form of Islam is considered heretical by Sunni extremists, and the Egyptian military has been battling an affiliate of the Islamic State in the Sinai for years. Sam Hodgson for the New York Times. 2. Lawyers for Michael Flynn have stopped sharing information with lawyers for President Trump, 4 people involved in the case told us. Our Washington correspondents say the split appears to be a sign that Mr. Flynn, the short-lived national security advisor, is moving to cooperate with prosecutors investigating Russia's interference in the 2016 presidential election. Cries of "enough already" on Russian meddling aren't coming from just Mr. Trump's supporters. In Russia, beleaguered liberals complain that the American focus feeds propaganda portraying President Vladimir Putin as a master strategist. Al Drago for the New York Times. 3. After Turkey call, I will be heading over to Trump National Golf Club, Jupiter, to play golf quickly with Tiger Woods and Dustin Johnson. That was President Trump tweeting about his post-Thanksgiving plans. The Turkey call had nothing to do with the bird. In the morning, Mr. Trump phoned the Turkish president, telling him that the U.S. would no longer arm the YPG, a Kurdish militia fighting in Syria against the Islamic State that Turkey sees as a threat. Then he hit the links with Mr. Woods and Mr. Johnson, the world's #1 golfer, but evaded most photographers. Above. Stephanie Keith. Getty Images. 4. Black Friday unfolded across the nation with a usual scramble for discounts, while the day logged extraordinary sales. Our correspondents tracked the action, from crashed websites to long lines for sneakers in Los Angeles, and Wirecutter, a Times company that reviews products, has a rundown on deals. Brick-and-mortar stores have been battered by consumers' shift to shopping, but Macy's, for one, has something to fall back on: a collection of real estate worth an estimated $16 billion, much of it old and grand. Above. Crowds outside its flagship store in New York. Ben Curtis. Associated Press. 5. Let bygones be bygones. That was Emerson Mnangagwa, also known as the Crocodile, as he was sworn in as Zimbabwe's new president. The 75-year-old extolled the leader he helped oust, Robert Mugabe, 93, as a father, mentor, comrade in arms and my leader. Mr. Mugabe, under house arrest, did not attend. For many Zimbabweans, elation over the fall of Mr. Mugabe has turned to cynicism over whether the rise of a member of the old guard amounts to more of the same misrule. Now Mnangagwa's bootlickers will have their turn to loot from the state coffers, one said. Shiraz Muhammad. Associated Press. 6. Oscar Pistorius, the WMPT Olympic sprinter convicted of killing his girlfriend in 2013, had his sentence increased to 15 years by a South African court, with prosecutors calling the original 6-year term shockingly lenient. Mr. Pistorius, pictured above in court last year, maintains that he shot Reeva Steenkamp, 29, by accident, unloading bullets through a bathroom door at what he believed was an intruder. The ruling extending his sentence said that Mr. Pistorius displays a lack of remorse and does not appreciate the gravity of his actions. David Fernandez. European Press Photo Agency. 7. Hope is fading for the 44 sailors on an Argentine Navy submarine missing since November 15, in what may be the most deadly accident involving a submarine since Russia's Kursk sank in 2000. President Mauricio Macri, above, must now confront mounting anger over the antiquated condition of Argentina's armed forces, false reports of satellite calls from the ship, and the week-long delay in discovering that an explosion had been recorded in the vicinity of the craft's disappearance. The wife of a crew member said of her husband, "If he can somehow hear me out there, all I can say is I love him." Jim Wilson's New York Times. 8. It's one of America's most diverse zip codes, 94,591. a Bay Area suburb. It's a tapestry of races and ethnicities, like the Johnson family, above. But Vallejo, Calof, is still no promised land, our correspondent writes. Groups tend to cluster together, giving rise to friction and stereotyping. Stubborn disparities endure. The correspondent, John Elegons, who is black, came face-to-face with the bias there. He observes diversity, it seemed, makes people feel comfortable using stereotypes and expressing biases. Christian Lemler 9. The Trials of Peace activists in Australia put a spotlight on a U.S. intelligence facility hidden in the outback. The activists could serve 7 years for trespassing. Known as Pine Gap, the base was presented to the Australian public in 1966 as a space research facility. But in reality, it controls U.S. satellites that guide airstrikes and nuclear weapons. Turn around now, a road sign near the base warns. A small town nearby has become a haven of sorts for American spies, engineers and cryptologists, complete with a baseball diamond and beef brisket at the grocery. Andrew Scrivani for the New York Times. 10. Thanksgiving is over Hopi without too much political strife at the table, but possibilities abound in the leftovers piled high in refrigerators. All but uneaten turkey can go into salad, soup, noodles or even pav bhaji, an Indian dish served with buttered, toasted buns. Have a great weekend. Your evening briefing is posted at 6 p.m. Eastern. And don't miss your morning briefing, posted weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, and your weekend briefing, posted at 6 a.m. Sundays. Want to catch up on past briefings? You can browse them here. If photographs appear out of order, please download the updated New York Times app from iTunes or Google Play. What did you like? What do you want to see here? Let us know at briefing@nighttimes.com.